Your relationship with money matters. I'm Michelle Perkins, and this is the Money and You podcast, where I will be breaking down your relationship with money, offering tough love money tips, and a money dating plan that will focus on lifting the barriers to success to help pave the way for better money practices and increased wealth. It's time to take control to live a limit-free life. It starts today. Hello, and welcome to the Money and You Show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. We are broadcasting here from ubngo.com and so excited about today's guest. She is so fabulous. You're going to love listening to her. And so she's got all kinds of amazing things to say about money, mental health, college planning. It's just going to be a great show. So let me just give you a little bio of Marla. She is one half of the Universal Broadcast Network radio series, The Marla and Dave Show. She's also recognized for her appearances on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood as Moniece Slaughter's mother. She and her husband were married in 1990 while he was a member of the Grammy-winning a cappella gospel group Take Six. Her blog, Maria Talks, has become an outlet for her thoughts and events surrounding her daily life. She and her husband, Dave Thomas, share the Marla and Dave Show. She has 3 children and a grandchild named Cameron. And Marla, welcome. All right. So thank you so much for being here. And there is so much that I want to ask you today. So, this show is it's about money, but it's really about the underlying foundational relationship you have with money, the psychology you have around money, the beliefs you have around money that really dictate a lot of your decision making. Because as you know, so much of what we do is a result of old habits, old patterns, kind of knee-jerk reactions to things versus consciously responding to events in life and not just reacting. So, money is just, I was listening to your show and the whole idea.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's excellent. The whole idea about the stigma around mental health, which I know very well because I have a severely mentally ill sister, and it's been that way for decades. And that's been a big part of our family history. And the stigma around that, because she was diagnosed in the 70s, was a whole different deal than it is today. And I'm so happy that people like you were talking about this. So this has nothing to do with money, but I just wanted you to know that it's a really important work that you're doing.
And Michelle, I want to just quickly say thank you for saying that, because one of the things I constantly share and repeat is this is not mental health is not a your problem. It's an our problem because we're less than a degree separated from someone, if not ourselves.
Yeah.
So to hear you say that is confirmation of what I've been saying forever. We have to stop looking at this through the eyes of indictment or through, this pushback of, if I associate or if I say or if I admit or if I, confirm, then, it's me. Or people are going to look at me away, whether, just because I'm associated with. So Thank you for that.
Yeah. And as a kid growing up with this, that long ago, it was real. I mean, it was it was definitely something that was uncomfortable to deal with. So, I love that you're talking about that. I also feel like there's stigma around money. I mean, they say that people would rather talk about their sex lives than talk about their paycheck. It's a big deal. People also want to pretend a lot or ignore or avoid or do something with their money situation, but they don't really want to talk about it. And so they don't educate themselves. They don't hear from other people what they're doing and, or even reach out that much for advice. Because if they do, then they have to kind of admit that they've got a problem.
I have to expose. Yeah. Trust. I'm also in real estate. So there's no better place to see that played out over and over. It's interesting that you'll come and want to buy a house, but your greatest fear is exposing your finances. Hello, I can't help you. if somebody's got to get you a loan, unless you're coming with cash, which is great. but I mean, again, I'm confirming that it's the most interesting thing. And I think that, again, my life approach is just by default has had to become practical.
Yeah.
And if we look at everything we pick up in this world to use is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Money doesn't come out of me. It doesn't come out of you. It comes to you. And then there's an expectation to use your tool of finance to accomplish what? Right. So I think that in life, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to money, the theme is the same. We're not clear. Yeah. We're not clear with what it is we want. What do you want this tool to accomplish for you?
That's right.
And if you don't have enough tools to build what you want, then you have to go get more tools, money.
Right.
Because this is insufficient. I'm trying to build a city, but I only have a small community's worth of tools to build these houses.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to build a city. So if I want to have a city, then what are the things I can do to be able to create more, to gather more tools, i.e. money, to do it?
Yeah, and I love that. And I think you're exactly right. The only thing I would like to mention is I had the tools with money. I was a CPA and a business consultant for 15 years, worked in entertainment and accounting and finance. I knew the practical side of money. But what I found and what shocked me was I found myself in a bad financial place, and I'm like, what is going on here?
How'd this happen? Right.
Yeah. So then I realized, and I did a lot of studying around this, but I realized through a lot of money mindset coaching, which I now do for people, that it's, you've got to build that foundation of a belief system that will allow you to go places, whether that's to get in debt or to save money or to stop giving all your money away or whatever, or to believe in yourself enough to raise your value in the workplace. I mean, it's just, to me, it was fascinating because I thought you just learned the tools, but you actually have to combine, just like you do in anything. In a relationship, it's the same thing. You've got to believe you can trust people or whatever it is. So, yeah, so I love what you're saying. And I think anybody can learn the tools. I mean, money is not something that, so many people come at it with this idea that I can't do money. I can't understand money. And as you know, being in real estate and just living as a human, that, we can learn these things. I mean, it's not rocket science, for one thing. It's a learnable set of tools, and a set of tools that everybody can acquire with a little effort and education.
Isn't that funny, Michelle, that what you just laid out so eloquently and so quickly and so apropos, that
Thank you.
It's about simplicity.
Yeah.
And we've complicated freaking everything.
Yeah,
we
sure.
Humans have complicated everything. We have complicated our healthcare. We've complicated our politics. We've complicated our relationships. We've complicated our money. We're just, we have chosen complexity. And what worked better in the past, I'm not opposed to moving forward technology and all that, but what our parents had and their parents had and their parents' parents was a simple life. Matter of fact, I was joking. I was talking to somebody yesterday in Florida, as I'm now commuting to help my dad. And my dad is just a simple dude. And I said, Dad, the true story, this is funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. It is funny. I said, Dad, I'm trying to put this paperwork together for you. Do you have the rental agreements on your rental homes? Oh yeah, baby, look over there in that file cabinet. I pulled the paper out, and it's a handwritten note of rent. Well, it's word of mouth. I'm like, no, bro. Real estate is as black and white as it gets. And I just laugh because it's simple for him. Yeah. You agree to live in my house. You agree to do this, and this, and pay me this. There was no date. There was no signature.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no address. But the person has resided there for 8 years under this simple, hodgepodge agreement in my book, but the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Is what you and I are now discussing. And that's the underlying principle. How do we get back to a simple understanding in a complex world of function?
Oh, that is so well said. And it makes me laugh because my father-in-law he's gone now, but he had bought a piece of an office building, and he bought it with somebody, and it's the same thing. There's no legal document to show that they each own a half of this building. And we talked to him about it. We wanted to get it all formalized, and he's like, he's good for it. It was a handshake deal in like 1950, and it'll be fine. And we're all like, okay, well.
Well, that's great for you, Dad. But because I am functioning in your little complex world, and now you've turned all this over to me, I'm gonna need something a little bit more concrete, sweetie. I got this.
It's not coming, so whatever. Some things just are what they are. But yeah, I love that, and we have overcomplicated things. You were bringing up, before we got on here, and this is something I really want to get into because I love that you even want to talk about this, the college situation, which we've overcomplicated that in every way possible. But I'd love for you to address this for families, because it's a huge strain on a lot of families financially, and it, so much comes up. I mean, there are the families who just don't even, it's just an assumption that people don't go to college in our family because of the money. And then for other people, the assumption is you go to the most high-end colleges.
Best college in the world. Like,
right.
If you're not paying cash for me to go to Harvard, then I don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you just speak about that? Because, it's so interesting that you even brought this up, because it's a family planning thing. It's a money planning thing. Because kids today, as I know you know, are so anxious. And whether they tell their parents or not, they're anxious about the money that parents are about to put into their education too.
My kid wasn't so much on that, which is hilarious. There is a video in this world that we recorded, which she has apologized a million times over, when she was going from high school to college. And the title of the video was, is paying for college a parent's moral obligation? And she felt like, yes, it was. She was 17 or 18 years old, and it is Comedy Central. But let me back up right quick and just say this to you, Michelle. Number one, thank you for this opportunity to have this topic, because I have a reality and a philosophy in life that I do not give advice. I share my experience. And most of what I advocate for by experiential default is mental health, which was brought about by my two older children and their issues. So today, you've given me an opportunity to focus on my youngest child in a conversation of experience, which hardly ever happens, because it just doesn't. So let's talk about Lexi. Let's talk about Drew, Alexis Thomas, and let's talk about that experience. Again, the practical approach, and this is a good time for a lot of families, and you laid it out very well, to really begin to look at the cost. College is an investment. I am investing my money for this said outcome. Determine what that is. Okay? Between you and your student, determine what that is. What is it that we're paying for? No slight on getting a job. Anybody who's productive in any way in this world, kudos. I love it, because I think that, passion should drive everything. And that's where a lot of us have missed the boat, including me. Like, if my passion, if I didn't have to pay this bill, then I'd be, my passion would look very different as far as what I'm putting out in this life. So what I had to understand was, which I'm encouraging parents to do, research the school that will allow the outlet of educational aptitude for your child, that will put your child on a path that they are inclined to, not because of anything else other than, if engineering, let's just hypothetically say you're gifted, you prove that through high school, and you've got this aptitude for engineering, and I'm going to, you live in California, but I'm agreeing to dump or to find the resources or to do whatever I have to do to get you into MIT because it's the best engineering school in the country. That's an investment that makes sense, because the outcome, I'm going to put this in for them to get this out. Okay? So our daughter was a gifted writer and an incredible student. And when she was in high school, we said, if you do your part, we make you a promise that we will do the rest. We'll meet you where you are. Not halfway, because of course it's 100% for us, but halfway, meaning I'll meet you where you stand. So if you take this journey seriously and you're willing to go through this, so her reach school was Syracuse. She was granted, which, you know, talk about sweating and can I say diarrhea on this show? Okay, I just did. Talk about all bodily functions just... When she passes by 3 full ride scholarships, 2 of which were actually going to pay us to send her to their school. We would have money in the bank. So when she started screaming and got into Syracuse, which was her reach school, the research that had to take place was, okay, hold up. There's no scholarship here, sweat. But now we've made this promise. And it was a prayer, but here's where the investment met the outcome. Mm-hmm. It was the #1 communication school in the country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is.
All right.
That is a fact. Yes.
Not the whole Orange University, but the School of Communication, which is Newhouse. Catch. Because Newhouse is so popular, her acceptance was into arts and sciences in writing and rhetoric. Now, at that time, which was 2010, 11, it was $60,000 for a base tuition.
Wow.
That's just, I'm going to pay for your education for the year. And you're not living anywhere specific or fancy or out of the thing, or you're not in a sorority and you're not doing anything.
You're not
that's
eating.
Just school.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to get to breathe and read for that money, for $60,000. Wow. And this is back then. Scared to know what it is now. So we can quickly do that math. And what are we at? 240,000, right? Mm-hmm. For 4 years, undergrad.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we're up to 268 because she did get into Alpha Phi and then blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So what I said to her is, okay, Lexi, you have 3 semesters, your whole freshman year and the fall of your sophomore year to work your ass off and get into Newhouse. If you don't, you will be coming home and going to UCLA or USC mm-hmm. or to one of the because that's also out of state mm-hmm. for the record. That's an out of state fee.
Right.
And Syracuse is not public. It's a private university. So I said, I can't afford to send you to this school that's so popular and all of this just for you to dress up in orange and cheer for the basketball team.
Yeah. Not
in the cards for us. But what I investigated, Michelle, was 90%, these are facts, of all the graduating students through undergrad in the School of Newhouse are working in their field.
Wow.
Within 1 year of graduation. And here's another thing that was great. Syracuse doesn't allow pretty much through their curriculum. I'm sure there's probably an outlier situation, but their curriculum is set up where you don't get to go 5 years.
Interesting.
So you have to check in with your counselor to be on track while you're a student. So what I invested in was an outcome that was all but guaranteed because I can't make the investment and kudos to parents who can, and they just want their kids to have the experience. And, you know, Bill Gates and Bezos, you got it like that. Great. Send your kids. I don't have that. So I wasn't about the hoopla of this crazy expensive education. She needed to come out and be productive in the field. So it doesn't make anyone greater or less. I paid for an outcome and a reputation that guaranteed the outcome.
Right.
And that's what we got. So by the time she turned her cap, her tassel over, the offers hit the table, and she was signed to ABC and as a news producer.
Wow.
Off great. Cuff in Savannah, Georgia. She went from the 90 market, and which was hilarious. She's very cute. She's a beautiful girl. She just got married. And we were laughing because I drove her to school, to Syracuse to live. And when I dropped her off at work the first day, now she's the boss, meaning she doesn't own the news situation, but she's a producer. So she's telling everyone what to do. She's telling talent where to be, how to go. But I'm putting these things together. I'm getting the information, and where's the helicopter? That's her, right? So I was laughing because at the time when she went to school, she was a baby. To work, she's a baby. So when I would pick her up, she'd have her work badge on, and I would just pick her up, and I'm a clown. So I just would start laughing at her, and she would say, "Mom, please stop." And I was like, "No, for real though. Like, do you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese? Let's go to dinner. Like, what do you want?" Like, but she went from 90 Market in Savannah, Georgia, ABC, to her first contract was 2 years. She was like, "I'm not going to be here one day past this contract. I'm out." Huh. And she came. We don't know how ABC in LA got her resume, but they did. And so she jumped from 90 to 1 immediately. So when her third year out of school, wow, she's way into a 6-figure earner, and the rest is history. And so was my money well spent? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Because my goal, parents, is the more I can invest in you that will cause you to be able to invest in yourself, the more you do for you, the less I have to do for you.
Right. Right. Oh, that is such a good story on so many levels. Thank you so much. And congratulations to your daughter and you. Yeah, beautiful move. And everybody did come through on that one. So I love that because not only do I talk about money, but I do career coaching with people. And that's a great career story because, for one thing, that making an investment, this from real estate. And I wonder if that's part of your, it's just ingrained in you at this point. You buy real estate as an investment. That's not a cost. That's not an expense. That is always the intention, is for it to be an investment, I would imagine. And right. And same with college. So these are really good examples because not everything is an investment. Some things are just plain old costs. It's just money out the window. But that's an excellent one. And I love the fact that you could safely do that, in my opinion anyway, because she was going after something that she was truly interested in. You weren't pushing her to go there and become a doctor when she didn't want to be a doctor.
Correct.
And yeah. So it makes a big difference in how that investment works out. So yeah.
And I think that one of the things I tried to share even in this conversation before with other families, parents, be careful, because there is a such thing as parent pressure. Yeah. There's peer pressure and there's parent pressure. Yeah. And a lot of us, I'll put myself in that category, are prone or inclined to do things based on a trend of what's happening around us for their friends and other kids. Mm-hmm. Maybe your kid doesn't have support who they are. I have 2 that didn't go to school, to college. Maybe they don't have that aptitude. You know what I'm saying? So, it's always a suggestion, but I'm educating myself to get information, to have a career, to be able to be productive in something. But if you want to offer that same support, you can offer that same support to your child. And it doesn't have to be the route of taking on all this debt, which is the case for most people. Mm-hmm. That, college is unaffordable, and I'm almost disgusted because the financial side of it has started a long time ago to me to feel like a racket. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We push this college agenda. It's just supposed to be your natural matriculation. You're supposed to go from elementary school to junior high school to high school to college. Yeah. College to and even still, do you know how many friends I have that can wallpaper their walls with degrees? Mm-hmm. And they are not working and earning hardly anything. And they're certainly sure as hell not in the field of the study that they are an expert. Right, right. And so what was your goal? Some people, if your goal is just to collect degrees, go. Go. And then you know what that expense is, and don't expect anything back. I mean, a lot of us throw ourselves into relationships. We're not getting nothing out of it because it's not a good one. So, but we do it anyway. You're like, I don't care. You know, he's cute. It works. You know, so it's up to you. And I think you laid that out very, very, very poignant in the very beginning. You know, all of it is about our relationship to a thing, to an idea. You know, what is this? And then what am I willing to invest to get to it? And I think that I just encourage, like I said, parents are not falling to parent pressure, is stop lying to yourself. Yeah. The greatest lie you're ever going to tell is the one you tell you about you to you.
That's right.
Because, you know, is this affordable? No. Is this the only way to get there? No. What do I really want? And what am I? So many of us, if you were honest, are pushing an agenda through your kids.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with your kid. Yeah. Nothing. So you're literally, you missed the boat, or you think you shoulda, coulda, woulda, and you get this financial egg and you strap it around your kid's neck.
Yeah.
to make yourself better or have more value or worth. And now you can jump into a conversation and, oh, well, you know, my kid's at Harvard. What about you? And so you have this perception. It's not everybody, but money should matter. Money should matter, and motivation should matter. Yeah. And you got to get real. You got to get real with and you have to listen. You have to understand. Again, Drew Alexis Thomas, Lexi ended up where she ended up is because she had this gift. She can write you under the table. And so that was always real. And it was important that she went to a school that met that curriculum to be able to foster and grow this gift, to feed it.
Right. So
she could use what she had to a productive end of her choice. Now, she just literally got married May 29. This is a funny story. You talk about career counseling, Michelle. She was done with news. She couldn't do it anymore. And it was anxiety producing and whatever. So she did it for almost 7 years. It's so funny for me to say that. She's so young, but she thinks she's old. Now I'm thinking it too, because she's brainwashed me. But when she got married, she got a job offer completely outside of news and technology.
Oh, cool.
That she took. She retired. What? 29. What am I even saying? She retired from news. She quit news June 1. Got married on May 29, quit news June 1, went with her husband, who's British, to the UK for a month's vacation, came back on June 27 and started a completely different job in a completely different career, you know, managing people in a completely different way. And it's a crazy learning curve. She's brilliant. So she's handling her business. But that's a good point. That start still work, that 268,000, 270 or whatever Dave and I argue about the difference between 263 and 268. It's just, I just say hell of a lot of money no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, yes. And so what that set up was her confidence in gathering information.
That's right.
Productively disseminating information to run a team. So right. So no matter what she does with her life from this point on, from the time she exited school, good job, Marla and Dave.
Yeah.
Job well done in our ability to look at the investment portfolio of an education.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that career change story too, because people need to know that's the other thing that stops kids. You know, they think, well, stopped my daughter. She didn't want to go to college because she's like, what if I make a mistake? She was so money conscious about it. And I never put that on her. It was,
right.
That's a whole other story. But and I so love what you're saying about parent pressure, because that is real. I see a lot of careers that are done because it satisfied the parents, and then they're 30, 40, 50, and they're trying to desperately get out of and be them because they never were able to be themselves and do what they wanted. So,
me, I'm on the list, me.
No, it's a fascinating topic to me. Maybe not to a lot of people, but to me, I could talk about it all day. So I'm trying to keep myself from going too far down that road. But it's so interesting, and I think it's important for not just kids, for everybody to know that what you decide, if you want to go to an expensive school because you want a certain career, it doesn't have to be forever. I mean, that's a perfect example of, you already got your money's worth with that. And now she's got all these transferable skills and all this just awareness of how to learn and how to show up and how to do everything right, so she could show up in 10 different industries if she wanted to.
I joke all the time, Michelle, and I say I have 3 children. 2 of them were deaf and listened to nothing I ever said, and 1 heard every word. Because what I say to her in the world, and when I've been guilty of falling into this path on my own, it's very hard to stop the inertia and the momentum of a merry-go-round called life, because this spinning that we're doing is creating a need. It's satisfying something we need. We need to eat. Yeah. I would prefer, I could live, it's always a choice, I could live on the street. I choose not to. So this dwelling costs a thing. And so, I always say that if you're not earning money, you're losing it. And so, finding a way to make my money make money is the goal. My obstacles in life with my children and the things that I've had to afford that I didn't expect to have to afford have certainly retarded that for us. But I'm still here, and I'm still trying to figure it out. While also helping others. So what I said to my daughter was, which she heard very well, this child is, again, she's 29. She just recently got married. She owns 2 houses. Stop it. Like, please. Yeah. So what I understand, what she understood and what she heard me say was, listen, the more, try your best to minimize the necessary conditions you place on your life. What does that mean? Once I had a baby, way too young, at 19, that was a condition that no longer allowed me in my own paradigm in life and priority list to make certain shifts. That's a fixed condition that must come first. Right. And so my options were limited at that point. Getting married could be a condition. Getting into too much debt is a condition. Now, in order for me not to tank my whole life, I have to address this debt. I got to work to pay these bills, because other than that, I'm going to be in a world of hurt. You created a condition. So if you're exploring, and I want to say this on your show, which you should explore your you, figure out what is right, and then your commitment on Monday may not be the commitment next week, Monday, you want to make. You have every right to actually make a new commitment with yourself. Just understand what is at stake. So try to limit your fixed conditions so you can have the freedom of mind. You can do it no matter what, but the freedom of mind to just wield to manage and navigate for you is a lot easier without these weighted conditions.
Right. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I feel like crying because our time is almost over, and I'm loving talking to you right now. You have so many interesting things to say here, and I have so many more questions, but I want to, because I can't get to all my questions, I want to sort of summarize. You deal with, the world of mental health, and you're getting questions and you're talking to people. I know that money, it's a hard one. I know money is a part of mental health issues, whether it's the cause or a byproduct, I don't know. I do know what I'm hearing from you with what you just said is that you took more of a sort of take charge, I'm going to find solutions to things approach. What do you say to the people who are sort of falling into a pit, saying, there's until money, somehow comes to me, I'll never be happy. I won't be able to get out of this depression. Money, I talk to a lot of people for whom money has become the central focus of their happiness, which.
Well, the first thing I would say to everybody is, like everything else, every life has a challenge. Everyone's life has some kind of challenge. So put your blinders on. Be very careful. And this is a big thing. Most of us measure ourselves outside of ourselves, when the only real measuring stick is that you can ever truly measure up to is going to be in you. Mm-hmm. So what I say to people who fall into that, there's the whole atmosphere right now is depressing.
Yeah. Yep.
Period. Money won't dig you out. And I will tell you this, there's some cliches out there. More money, more problems. True. Yeah. More money, more management. More money, more worry. And it doesn't mean I'm telling you not to have money. But what I'm saying to you is to make money attached to any kind of happiness is not where it's at, peeps. It's a no. Because in some cases, you can never have enough. So if you can't find the core thing in you that doesn't involve the tool we spoke of in the beginning, then your happiness, your true happiness, will always be fleeting.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you have to be anchored inside of yourself so you don't, get pulled all over, and then you can actually utilize money, because the happiness is the core you. The money is just the extraneous thing that we're focused on, because it's much easier to do that than to fix inside of here. Mm-hmm. And so, because sometimes I can't create more money. So if I can't create more money, then I'm never going to be happy, because money just eludes me. And so there you go. That's why my life sucks and blah, blah, blah. But so many things that you can do to be happy for free. Mm-hmm. So you get what I'm saying? It just is about the paradigm adjustment. And I have to say this right quick too, Michelle, just to put this in the ether about money and mental health. We have so missed the mark. Managing mental health would be which would be much more effective if we could invest a lot less money in enlightened care than what we're doing now, which isn't even touching the real issues. So right now, the answer is, let's just put all our problems in prison. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah. And so there are things that can be done. And I'm going to throw this out here. It's not done, but Dave mentioned this and I thought it was brilliant. Once you understand mental health, some people who have schizophrenia a lot, and people who are in that mindset, they don't want to be housed.
Right. Right.
What if we had a dedicated park in many communities that had general security, just because you have a stall number that you can check in. There's showers that are independent and monitored, a bathroom, and you can just set up your encampment in a controlled area. They would go for it 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. Because if you sit down and talk to them, which I do all the time, they're paranoid and they want freedom from the system. Right. That's how their minds work. They're in another whole realm of reality. What we're doing is slavery.
Yeah.
So if you could provide a free space, much cheaper and much more controlled and contained, wouldn't that seem okay? Like, already they're in the park, they're under the overpasses, they're in your corner.
Yeah.
I live in Woodland Hills. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Every street that doesn't face a house,
yeah,
RVs are parked. Junk to us, but collectibles to them are gathered and, on the curb.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, look at how much cheaper that would be. We live in California. You could do it in Florida, any place where the weather permits. Mm-hmm. Give many outdoor spaces, and then that's the requirement. Just that this is where you can reside, and in the evening or whatever the case, you just have, like I say, you want it to be safe.
Right.
Patrol it. just loosely, meaning, you're not in there, guns and all that other stuff. You're literally just engaging. Cheaper than building another jail, right?
Well, cheaper, smarter, better in a million
and
ways.
And more effective for the goal.
Yeah, and you bring up something that is such a huge topic. I mean, I hope you'll talk more about that, because that is an excellent idea, and we are in need of good ideas, because most people aren't trying to think of solutions. They're just trying to make the problem disappear, and it's not going to.
And the way we're handling these problems are, by the way, just as an aside, we are creating more trauma. So that's just that. So that's what I feel about depression and money. Depression is depression. Whatever you choose to point your thumb at or your finger at, no one points their thumb. See, that's awkward. No one does that. Whatever this is my opposable digit. It's not right. Whatever you point your finger at can be the focus of your depression.
That's right.
It can be the cause, but what you have to do is find that balance inside of yourself. Period. The end. And that's the fight. And whatever you have to do to get to that, therapy, separation from things and people, creating new avenues of peace. All my answers come when I'm in a quiet time, right? When there's peace. So you have to, and that's that's a workout in my world, to find peace. But I know I have to find it. So whether it's taking a 3-mile walk or whatever the case is, it's a soft reset, and that will help you.
That will help you. Thank you. Yeah, I do that every morning. I've got to set some serious boundaries around that so I can have that time too. And the days when I don't take that time, they're entirely different days than the ones when I do. So,
right.
I mean, yeah. Thank you so much. All of this is really food for thought, and I hope people will take it in. What you just said, I mean, happiness is an inside job. Money is an inside job. Money can be thought of a million different ways, and how you choose to think about it and how you choose to interact with it are super important. And you gave some great tips. Thank you so much. I loved that college discussion. I think so many people are probably needing to hear that right about now when the tuition bills are starting to come in.
It's very timely.
It is very timely.
Parents are financial planning as we speak to get their kids in school in September.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to say, too, I heard on your show you say something about you're not alone. That seemed to be kind of a mantra or something that
yeah, for sure.
And I feel like people need to know that about money, too, because people feel very lonely and isolated, with their money problems. Maybe not with their money so much, but when they're struggling. And yeah, I would say, similar things, like you need to go and get the help when it comes to money.
Find a place to be supported.
That's right.
Don't treat money like a mate or like a disease. Like, in other words, I always tell, when I joke with my girlfriends, I talk a lot about relationships. Again, another one, being married 34 years. And I always say, I've never seen anybody sexually satisfied by sleeping with a wallet. Doesn't work. So what I'm saying is, you can marry money if you want to, but you're gonna always sorely be missing a relationship.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And so it's not after a while, you can only buy so many red bottoms, and you can only go to so much lunch, and people create. I'm in with this, Michelle. We are human beings that are put on a planet with the intent of being productive. We are the higher intelligence of all life, because that's how we were designed. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so no one is, that's where, we get into trouble with just, saying, I'm just going to shop, great, go, unless you're a professional shopper, but soon you lose your actual life force effectiveness.
Yep.
That's not why we're here. That's and right. So it doesn't have to be that you have to pick up a career, but to find a purpose in being.
Yeah.
Is a tool for real mapping of happiness. and then taking what's around you and understanding it and using it. And so that, my friend, is the message for the mastery of money.
Perfect way to wrap up. There's nothing like purpose to keep you going and moving in good directions. And you're right. It doesn't have to be a career, it can be a career. I mean, I think that's a great way to go, but it can be a lot of things. And thank you so much for ending with that. Can you tell people how to find you and how to listen to your show? And all
my
that good
address is, just kidding. Our podcast is, our webcast is Mental Health Mondays with an S. You can find us on YouTube. We, as you, broadcast through UBN, and you can also find our Instagram, which is MHM, Marla, Henry Marla, with Marla and Dave, spelled out. That's on IG, and our YouTube, and our foundation. Our personal, David and I's Mental Health Love Child Foundation is lovingbeyondreason.org. And that is where we are raising money to get initiatives going to be able to start our first Loving Beyond Reason mental health transition home is what we're doing. So we're out there now fundraising and getting grants and doing all that because it is our mission to be able to bring solutions to families who have fallen into this eternal pit of lost when it comes to mental health. And I do recognize that is where I have found money matters most, or the lack thereof. Mm-hmm. Because if your money, you need it to be able to help find that balance. You need it. You need the medicine. You need the help. You know what I'm saying? There is a purpose there. Mm-hmm. And I just can't get around it. To be honest, we're managing our son. Mm-hmm. And that's big. And we've got a better shot, than most. But that doesn't make my love relationship with my children any less than another mother who's looking for help, especially when they become adults.
That's right. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. And so please, I'm going to go there and check that out and try to participate somehow. So thank you so much for sharing that. And
Michelle, thank you. Keep doing you. Keep money mattering on the minds the way you're doing it. And keep this platform going as well, because believe it or not, we're all linked in synchronicity to the greater good of all.
Yeah. Thank you.
And kiss Tony Sweet for me.
I will. He's always good for a big hug.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You guys, have a great rest of your week.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, listeners. Loved having you here today. This is the Money and You Show, and you can go find more about career change and business growth and money matters on the Limit Free Life. .com. Limit Free Life, my website, limitfreelife.com. I can't talk anymore. And you can find me at Michelle at Limit Free Life, 2 L's. Let me know what you think about the show. Let me know what you'd like to hear about, other topics. Love to accommodate anybody's interests. So thanks again for being here, and we'll see you next week.